my first LSD experience at 17 years old. Before I share this story with you, I do want to say that I'm not recommending any teenagers do this. I am not in any way a medical professional and expert. I was a kid that had experienced a lot of pain. I was very lost, and I did not have very good parental supervision. And thankfully it didn't fuck me up. It didn't do anything crazy, but it could have happened. It was the summer after high school graduation. I had cheated on my girlfriend. We had subsequently broke up. I had told her the truth, and this had become public in my entire high school. At least my perception of it at the time was that everyone knew I had cheated. Everyone thought I was a piece of shit for doing it, and that it would be best if I just went away. Right? I was not in the suicidal way, but just in like a fuck it, high school's over, good riddance. And around that time, my older brother, and a friend of his, who's also a close friend of mine, came down to stay at my dad's place, and he had a ton of experience with psychedelics, and so he suggested, right? He had done LSD with my brother maybe like a week prior, I think, and then either I asked them to or one of them suggested it, that the three of us do it. And I, at the time, said yes to anything that people offered me. So we decided we would do it, and we decided we would do it in my bedroom while my dad and my stepmom were home. And we decided to do it at like 7 or 8 at night. Again, I'm not endorsing this. I'm not recommending this. It's just something I'm sharing, maybe as a disclaimer. So we take it again at about 7:38 p.m. and this is vague recollection. It could have been 9 or 10. I took a full little square. My brother took a full little square, and our friend took 2 squares. And so for that first 30 minutes to an hour, I was still doing fine. And the only thing actually that I remember was on my mind was that my ex-girlfriend, who I was like, man, she must fucking hate me. She had reached out to me, I think, that week because she was about to go off to college. We were both about to go off to college, but we had never really gotten closure. And so she had reached out asking me like, would you be open to hanging out one last time? And I had said yes. And so we were sort of not like texting, but it was on my mind that I might text her because she is now somebody that I could text. And I remember being afraid of like, well, I don't want her to know that I'm doing LSD. I remember vividly the moment where I went from normal to like, I am now entering a different state of mind. My friend started playing MGMT's The Youth, and then he said, look at this weird picture. It was like an Instagram page for somebody that made psychedelic art. And I think it was Jack Nicholson's face that he showed me. And I looked at Jack Nicholson's face and I did not see Jack Nicholson. I saw I don't know what I saw, man, but it was not pretty. And so in that moment, started dying laughing for like an hour. And then I don't remember at what point it turned sour, but I remember that it was because we started to talk to each other a lot. And I started to get in my head, and our friend started to get in his head. And my brother, I think, was just kind of like, fuck, I wish these 2 guys weren't here so that I could just enjoy my trip. But I was the youngest by 4 years, and this was an experience they had invited me to, and so my whole trip was like, I'm fucking this up for them, right? I am making this a shitty experience for them, and they don't want to tell me that, right? It's funny because in retrospect, I can see the trauma that was coming up, right? I just didn't have any understanding of what trauma was at the time, so I was just like, man, I'm fucking tripping. And I'm just now remembering that I had these sort of like weird sexual encounters with older men on the internet, right? Like a chat roulette type of thing, and nobody knew about it at the time. And so I was also like afraid that LSD could just make this truth come out of me, like it was some sort of truth serum. So I was afraid going into this experience, like, am I gonna confess to them that I've done these things, and if I do, What are they gonna think of me? And so yeah, we started talking. I don't really remember about what. I know that we recorded like 3 hours of it. I don't think we ever went back to listen to it. But at one point, I became like overly paranoid. And I was sitting on the bottom bunk of my bunk bed. And I just remember thinking to myself, I can't move. There is something that is out there and it's gonna get me if I leave my bed. And I played on my iPod, not even with speakers, just from my iPod. I started to play the Marshall Mathers LP, and I started to look at the cover of it, right? And I started to look at Eminem just sort of lying in that fucking dark basement or whatever it is. And I remember just hearing Eminem and feeling for the first time like I understood what he was talking about, and right, which I didn't. I had no fucking clue what I was talking about, but I was listening to Kill You, right? And it was just this very violent song, and I was like into it. And listening to Eminem was like the thing that was holding the thread of my sanity. And so then one of them asked, you know, would it be okay with you if we like record this, if we make like a video of us doing this? And I heard that, and I thought to myself, in my altered state of consciousness, I thought, what do these guys want to do to me? What the fuck is going on? And so I was like, no, you cannot record me. Don't fucking, why are you asking that, right? I started to freak out. And they were like, fine, we won't do that. But so basically it just turned into this, like, I was having a bad trip and they were trying to take care of me, but also like they were just like exhausted and they wanted to experience their own thing, and I was picking up on that and I felt guilty, but I also felt too scared to like even let them leave the room. At one point I got up and I said, hey guys, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I think I'm okay to go by myself. I walk in the bathroom, close the door, pull my pants down, and as I'm waiting to pee, immediately, dude, I'm transported to a different place. My recollection of it was, as I was peeing, I saw like the savanna grass grow from the ground, and this huge flashing, this bright light from behind me, that in my thought, I was like, there's headlights, and I heard this crazy roar of an engine. As I'm already peeing, I hear this noise, and I'm freaking out. I think there's a fucking Jeep in the African savannah that's about to run me over, and I just yell out, ah, so loud that as soon as I finish yelling, I'm like, fuck, dude, I woke up my dad and he's gonna come down. What the fuck? And I start freaking out, and I walk out of the bathroom, and my brother and our friend are just chilling, right? Like nothing happened. And I say, did you guys not hear that? And they said, hear what? I just yelled really loud. And they're like, no, it was not that loud, because we didn't hear it. I had never felt fear the way that I felt fear that night. And yeah, there was no real like crazy takeaway. There was no real lesson, because I was too young. I didn't know what I was doing, why I was doing it, what it could do for me. I had no idea what to expect. And it's also, I mean, I was 17, 18 at the time, and I was looking at the curtains fucking melting on the wall, right? It's like, it was too much information, too much input for my immature brain at the time. But anyway, so we wrapped up the experience, I think at like 9 in the morning. We went out to look at the sunset, and then we just sat by the ocean looking at the waves, and eventually we went to sleep. After that experience, I decided, you know, I don't think that it's a good idea for me to see my ex-girlfriend, and because I had sort of moved on. At least in my mind, I was like, if I see her, then I'm gonna have feelings again, and she's gonna leave, and I'm gonna be sad. And so I texted her and I said, hey, I'm really sorry, but I don't think it's a good idea for us to see each other. She freaked out again. But so in a way, what I connected making this video is that the LSD did sort of give me a little bit of clarity of like, I guess enough clarity to make what to this day I still think is the right decision. If you are considering doing anything like this, make sure that you have the proper support yeah, thanks for stopping by. I'll see you in the next video.